JabraEnhance.com/radio. That's JabraEnhance.com/radio. JabraEnhance.com/radio.
I'm Bev. My husband Bill is living with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, a type of interstitial lung disease that can scar your lungs and make it hard to breathe. ILD can be hard to diagnose. If you're out of breath with a constant dry cough, ask a pulmonologist if it could be ILD. Bill and I have been married for over 60 years, and we're looking forward to more. If you or someone you love may have ILD, find support, hope, and help at lungsandyou.com.
For some jobs around the house, it's okay to do it yourself. For others, not so much. Like your water heater. Replacing a water heater should only be done by a plumbing professional who can provide a safe installation for you and your family. For a long-lasting, reliable water heater, ask your pro about Bradford White. How you heat your water matters, and Bradford White water heaters are built to be the best for years of dependable service. To learn more and find an installation pro near you, visit bradfordwhite.com.
Now, your Live Nation lineup.
Don't miss these upcoming shows.
See 'Twas the Night Before by Cirque du Soleil at the Met Philadelphia, presented by Highmark, December 19th through the 29th. See Dylan Marlowe at the TLA, January 24th. Rod Stewart at TD Pavilion at the Man, July 12th. And check out Styx with Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon at Freedom Mortgage Pavilion, August 8th.
For tickets and info, go to livenation.com.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The drones, the mystery widens. We have Trump talking about drones. We have experts talking about drones. What do you say? Are you worried? Especially after Trump spoke, you'll hear about all of it. And military experts giving us some new insights. And what's up with that lawsuit, right? A lawsuit involving the larger maker of drones, which just happens to be a Chinese company. Does that play into this? These suspicious drone sightings? So the latest here, by the way, I was at a couple weekend holiday parties, family parties. Everywhere I went over the weekend, that's all you were talking. Everyone was talking about the drones. I'm still getting your texts, your videos. I saw a drone here. I saw a drone there. It's like a Dr. Seuss episode, for crying out loud. I'm not worried anymore after what Trump said at his very first, by the way, this was his first official media or news conference, taking questions and so on, post-election. I know he's done interviews and he has been captured at events speaking, but this was the first official news conference, whatever you want to say. And a news conference is defined, by the way, that you can't just speak and then walk away. That's not really a news conference. You have to take questions from the media. I just want to point that out because, previous administrations like, I'm having a news conference, and then they make a statement and they leave without ever taking any questions and answering questions. So I just want your take on all of that because that's all I heard about over the weekend. The one party, right?
Yeah,
the one party over
nonstop. It was just drones.
The one party over the weekend, we were. It was out in the Royersford area. Everybody's outside instead of being in. It was cold over the weekend. Everybody's looking up. There's a drone. No, that's just a bright star.
Everyone's eyes are on the sky. I'm walking the dog, and it's you look around at people walking their dog, and a plane flies over. Everybody's looking up at it, trying to determine whether or not it's a drone. Is
it a drone? Is it a? It's like a Superman commercial. Yeah. But I know even Governor Josh Shapiro says we should have answers. Everybody at the state level seems to be saying we deserve the answers. Trump, we played this earlier, and I don't know if you want to play it again, Dan, but, Trump just basically, he gets the briefings. So he has been briefed the same as the president has. So he knows what's up. He's not saying it, but what I read into this, and you can tell me what you think, he's calling people out. He's calling this administration out to say, look, let people know something. They deserve the answer because people are scared.
Good to see you. Can you comment on the drones that are flying around?
First question.
It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening.
Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows.
It's Superman.
And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster.
That's scary.
They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
Of
I
course.
don't want to comment on that.
Mm-hmm. That means yes.
Do you have any reason to think
Of course.
I mean, I feel like that's shadier than just saying, yeah, well, duh.
No, well,
I'm going to be the president.
It was a good question to say, have you had, and he gets briefed. Of course he does. Of course he knows. He's saying everything he can. And the fact that he pointed out the military knows gives us a big clue. I will tell you that there are multiple experts who are, military veterans, Marines, etc., who are in this business. And they claim that this is our government searching by night for some kind of a chemical weapon or biological weapon, maybe radiation.
Could you imagine? And so are you saying that there's already the theory is that
saying.
there's a leak, or there's some kind of weapon out there?
They're saying that they're searching for something that could be some kind of a weapon.
Yeah.
And we aired this earlier, so I don't even know if we need to, but there was a drone expert, Brett Velikovich, and he was, I think we aired this much earlier. Maybe we're safe playing it. I don't know. But he's one of these experts. We hear them across the board. They're all saying, all these drone experts are saying they're searching for something. But also there are drone experts saying, they could be doing military exercises, right? Because that's the future of, drones are the future. We see it in real time when we talk about the updates with Ukraine and Russia. And the Ukrainians are quite good at this. I've been telling our younger family members who are concerned about it, because the little kids hear the parents talking about it. So we were at this one family party, and they were like, Auntie Dawn, what do you think that is? I said, I think it is Santa's elves.
Ooh.
They're Santa's elves. They have more kids that have been so good this year. They're all just doing some practice runs with drones, and they're Santa's elves.
The elves don't fly, do they?
Well, they fly the drones.
Wouldn't it be the reindeer?
Well, no, they would be practicing drones to help out the reindeer.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Dan.
Gotcha. All right. You're the one with the inside info to Santa. I'm not the,
I don't want the kids to get all worried.
I wish I knew the guy as well as he did.
Don't have to worry. No, but I think that Trump knows, and I think basically what he's saying is, hey, guys, you got to either knock off your nighttime training sessions or whatever, or you got to tell people what's going on. And your deadline's, pretty much January 20th. Get it together, people. It's really silly to scare people. That's the bottom line.
Especially at Christmas.
Yeah.
Right before speaking of my holiday season, I should be shopping, and I'm consumed by looking at UAP videos online.
And so I'm just looking. There was even Pennsylvania, New Jersey at the state level. Governor Josh Shapiro was quoted. I don't know that we have audio, and this is a print report. I think it was the Associated Press, but they said Shapiro says our federal partners.
Give man some microphones. It's always print for this.
I know. Could you please give us some audio? Our federal partners tell us they pose no risk, meaning the drones pose no risk to personal safety or national security. But as the old saying goes, trust but verify. That was what Shapiro said. So critical of the Biden administration. But I know across the board, everybody at the state level is crying foul here and says, let us know. And the federal authorities say the drones are not U.S. military, supposedly. I don't know if I believe that. Maybe they're technically, I don't know, CIA or something, some secret mission, maybe. I don't know. Your takes, 855-839-1210. We'll get into all of it. We do have Dave McCormick coming up, so I have a lot to talk to him about. So we have to, and most importantly, what beer was he drinking with J.D. Vance? Trump doesn't drink,
Daniel
but
Penny.
he was there, with Daniel Penny. newly exonerated. So that was pretty cool at the Army-Navy game. And I will say that, you know what? Is there more Trump?
I
'Cause
do
we
have
didn't
I have the
play-
drone expert. The Trump video, I do have more Trump as
I want to
well.
hear more. We didn't play a lot of that Trump news conference. There was a lot in there. And I wonder if we could get to his statement about RFK Jr. Because now you are hearing the media today and yesterday. They're focusing on the polio vaccine and the media questioning whether RFK Jr. is a polio vaccine denier, this sort of thing. Trump was asked about this.
Can I follow up on Robert Kennedy? He's on the Hill today. He's meeting with senators. What do you say to people who are worried that his views on vaccines will translate into policies that will make their kids less safe?
No, I think he's going to be much less radical than you would think. I think he's got a very open mind, or I wouldn't have put him there. He's going to be very much less radical. But there are problems. I mean, we don't do as well as a lot of other nations, and those nations use nothing. And we're going to find out what those problems are. And another thing that came up, the dinner was fascinating because I had Bobby and I had, again, the head of Pfizer. You know who that is. He's a highly respected man who has run an incredible company. Likewise with Lilly, the top two people. And we had the head of the industry also. So all companies were represented. And I said, let's have it out now a little bit. And you know what came out of that meeting is that we're paying far too much because we're paying much more than other countries. And we have laws that make it impossible to reduce. And we have a thing called the middleman. You know the middleman, right? The horrible middleman that makes more money, frankly, than the drug companies, and they don't do anything except they're a middleman. We're going to knock out the middleman. I'm going to be very unpopular after that statement.
Mr. President,
I don't know who these middlemen are, but they are rich as hell. And we're going to knock out the middlemen. We're going to
It's the
get drug
PBMs
costs down
that I've
at
talked a lot
levels
about.
that nobody has ever seen before. And that really, I tell you, we spent more time talking about that with Bobby and with the executives and Oz, all of them.
Goes on and talk about the polio vaccine if you want that as well.
Yeah, so with the polio vaccine, I'll just, because all you heard yesterday in the news, the headline was, Mitch McConnell, who was a polio survivor as a child, said that there's no place for basically anybody denying the polio vaccine. To my knowledge, RFK Jr. is not poo-pooing or denying the polio vaccine. Trump says that. We played it earlier. He says nothing like that's going to happen. It's absurd. And so RFK Jr., first of all, you heard Trump. He always goes back to consumer money, right? At the art of the deal. And so what he's saying is, and this is good for all of us, we're paying too much. And I talked about this last week. Since the Affordable Care Act went into full effect, we have seen our healthcare costs go up some 53%. 53%. Okay. So the media, I just wish, to be fair, they would talk about that. You don't see that. I had to look up that stat and then I verified it at multiple government sources as well. So he's looking at the cost because that affects each and every one of us. So we'll continue that conversation. There was they alluded to, I'll get going in 1 second. I'm just going to finish this one thought, and that is they alluded to the cause of autism. I will get into that today because, as you know, I have two young relatives who have been diagnosed with autism. I'll get into all of that. McCormick, right around the corner, Senator-elect Dave McCormick. And now I'm checking my VPN. I love to check my VPN every once in a while. How many of these invasive, creepy sites are being blocked from tracking me? It's a virtual private network that virtually keeps me private. That's how I think of the VPN, thanks to courtesy DuckDuckGo Privacy Pro, automatically and repeatedly scanning these sites. So 50 sites at a time. Right now, 42 sites just being blocked, and now it's still scanning in real time. So these are sites that can store or sell your information, can heighten your risk of becoming a victim of fraud or identity theft, God forbid. So I want you to try this. It's a 30-day free trial. We're coming to the end of this offer. DuckDuckGo.com/1210. And this is our exclusive offer, 30 days free. So it's a threefer with Privacy Pro. It's a subscription that you're going to get 30 days free to try it out. 3 services included, the VPN, I talked about it. full device protection, encrypted VPN. It's fast, it's simple, and it's secure, and across the United States and Europe. Personal information removal. It finds and removes your personal details like your name and address that are out there on these sites that store and sell it. And it's going to find and extract those. Then there's identity theft restoration. I love, love, love this feature. If your identity, God forbid, is stolen, a specialist at DuckDuckGo Privacy Pro is going to help you restore those stolen accounts, recover financial losses, even help you correct your credit report. I mean, come on. What have you got to lose here? Try this for 30 days. I'm telling you, you're going to love it like I love it. 30-day free trial, duckduckgo.com/1210. Then after the 30 days, you'll pay $9.99 a month. DuckDuckGo.com/1210. Tell them Dawn sent you.
This Merrill Reese update is brought to you by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865.
If you told me in August that this would turn out to be a terrific season, I would have agreed. Even though I understand September games can be misleading, that 33-16 loss at Tampa Bay was pretty discouraging. As it turned out, the early bye came at the right time, and the coaches obviously used it well. The Eagles haven't lost since, and with the exception of the Carolina game, they've been really impressive. Right now, there's nobody better. With the Eagles, this is Merrill Reese.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. Your boxes are wrapped and the gifts are in. Our employees are ready. Let the holiday ride begin. Let's start with the price. It's easy to manage when you ship with the reliable USPS Ground Advantage. In just a few days, it's sure to arrive. We're working nonstop to keep the spirit alive. USPS Ground Advantage, the affordable and reliable shipping solution for the holidays. Visit USPS.com/advantage.
Free speech in Philly on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
We are live. We are local. Good to be back after jury duty yesterday in Philadelphia. And then I strategically parked, by the way, in the Wanamaker building so that after jury duty, because my case was settled.
Oh.
So ding, 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 just had to go to the parked car, which, the Wanamaker building, Macy's, saw the light show. So
Yeah.
many memories.
Anything fall on you from the parking garage or anything?
Nothing fell.
No.
It was wonderful.
As the building falls apart?
No, it was wonderful. It's a shame, as Sherelle Parker. Let me know when Dave McCormick is he coming on this?
No, he's good to go. We're ready
He's
to go.
good to go?
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry. Yep.
So, Senator-elect Dave McCormick, I know I've congratulated you, but what an incredible sight to see you there with J.D. Vance as at the Army-Navy game there, and Trump was there. Good to see you.
Oh, thank you, Don. Well, it's great to be on your show, and thanks for having me. And that Army-Navy game's a tradition that I've been going to for almost 40 years.
Oh my gosh!
And I've taken my family. I've got 6 daughters, and for many years, we, for almost 20, we take the kids every year, and I make them do the Rocky Run on the morning of the game in Philadelphia, and we run up the steps of the Art Museum. But my wife always says the great thing about that game is whether Army or Navy wins or loses, America always wins. And it's just such a great tradition. President Trump loves it. I've seen him there a couple times. We were in the same box, and he was very excited, and the place went wild when he walked in. And I think they're, the cadets and the midshipmen and all the audience, they're excited to have a strong commander-in-chief who's going to stand with the military and have peace through strength.
Well, and there was a great saying that your wife Dina had, she put it well. But for you, I have to ask, because everybody was wondering well, first of all, the biggest question that they've been asking us is ask Senator-elect McCormick, what beer were you guys having in there? Like J.D. Vance, does he like beer? That was the biggest, of all the hard-hitting questions I could ask you.
Trump doesn't drink, right?
No, Trump doesn't drink, but...
Yeah, I was. I didn't drink that day either. So I was. I figured all those important people in the box, I was going to stay stone sober. so I don't know what the beer was, to be honest with you. But there was lots of good football food, and it was incredible because you had the speaker, the majority leader, the president, the vice president, as well as a number of other prominent people. And, there was you could feel change in the air. And that's the thing that I heard on the campaign trail over and over again, and that's why I'm so excited to be here. Americans and Pennsylvanians want change. They want to close the border. They want to get the economy back on track. They want to slay inflation. They want to unlock energy. They want to bring law and order to our cities. And that's what the focus is right now. And President Trump and the Senate and the House, I think, are going to be very focused in this first 90 days of starting to deliver on all these important promises for the American people. And I'm just honored and excited to be part of it, and anxious to be part of getting change moving in the right direction.
And, you know, it looked like you and J.D. Vance were having a great conversation there. You're both obviously military veterans. You yourself, West Point grad, combat veteran, Bronze Star recipient. We've talked about that. But did you, I never ask people to disclose their private conversations, but is there anything you can share as far as insights as to what you were talking about or what you clicked on? Was it the military service or what?
Oh, we were talking about mostly just the first of all, we're just, friendly, but just becoming, I think getting to know each other better and becoming good friends. I'm very excited about what he's going to bring to the vice presidency. And there's a lot of energy among young people. Which we saw in the stands that day, but I saw it on college campuses. JD really embodies that. I think he's been part of why we've excited a whole new generation of voters. If you look at the coalition that won for President Trump in Pennsylvania, and for me, it's a non-traditional coalition of working families and trade unions and African Americans, Hispanics, Jewish voters. That coalition is the mark of a new coalition that's going to solidify for Republicans across the country. JD and I were talking a little bit about that, and then talking about the importance of hitting the ground running in the House and the Senate to implement the president's agenda. And we all agree on the importance of doing that. We have a moment in time. There's a lot of parts of what's going on in our country that are really hurting many Americans, many Pennsylvanians. And so, I think that the word of the day is change and getting things done, and that's what we were talking about.
One of the things as you head into the Senate, just over the weekend, getting together with friends and different groups of people, and one of them is a builder in this area, pretty big builder, talking about all of the regulations and figuring out all the regulations, new regulations, Biden era, but even going back to Obama era regulations that still exist that make it so, they were telling me that and one was an attorney, one was a builder, just talking about this thing, going, you can't even imagine the hoops we have to jump through. And what used to take, maybe months now can take years, depending on what they're building.
No doubt about it, Don. And this is, when I did 500 visits this calendar year in Pennsylvania across different small companies, big companies, builders, frackers, the whole range. And I would say to all of them, what would stand in the way of you doubling your workforce, creating more jobs? 3 answers every single time. Number 1 was inflation. Number 2 was labor, skilled labor to fill the jobs. And number 3 was regulations. And it's gotten worse. And listen, the regulations compound on top of each other. So regulators are like a hammer looking for a nail. They want to regulate. And so they put regulations on top of existing regulations, and it makes it very hard to grow and do business. I think President Trump knows that is a huge problem. If you remember, in his first term, he put in place a rule where if you were going to introduce a new regulation, you had to eliminate 2, a very sensible way to do it. I think Elon Musk, who was in the box the other day as well, and Vivek, who was also there, are going to take on this Department of Government Efficiency and really try to drive the deregulation agenda. It couldn't be more important. And that's something I'm going to be hammering on every day. Part of the responsibility of the Senate is to play a role of keeping in check the administrative state and these regulators that are spiraling out of control, particularly in energy, which is a huge inhibitor of Pennsylvania. The regulations are a huge inhibitor of Pennsylvania really becoming the energy dominant Commonwealth it should be. So it's top of the agenda.
Yeah, and I know that's why, and I imagine that's something that that's why I asked the question about builders, because a lot of people talk about the unions and jobs. I know you were recently in Pittsburgh, but maybe they don't connect all the dots, that when you think about these regulations, this is what's costing you the jobs, is these Democrat policies, quite frankly, that, I mean, when I hear the attorneys and then on the other hand, the builders themselves talk about this, it just basically, it strangles,
it's huge.
Right? It strangles everything, the jobs, we have a housing crisis, all of that.
No doubt. I was, as you were referring to, I was with the building trades yesterday in Pittsburgh, and we had a lunch of probably 25 representatives, different leaders of the different trade unions, and we talked a lot about this. This really stands in the way of creating the energy jobs and the manufacturing and construction jobs that are great for everybody, and so it's a big part of the agenda, and something that I think listen, that there's this realignment where working families are going with Republicans because we're the jobs party. We're trying to create jobs, and part of doing that's getting rid of over-regulation.
So I saw, on social media, everybody should follow you, obviously, and we saw that you got your new office. You're going to be sworn in soon. You went through the it's like kindergarten. Can you share, what you were going through as far as,
listen, I'm still finding my way around here, but just to put this in perspective, in seniority terms, I'm 100 out of 100 in the Senate right now.
Yes.
But the beauty of being in the Senate is your voice is every bit as important as every other one of those 100 senators, and I can fight for Pennsylvania on day one. You're in a transition office, so I'm in the basement now, and over the next couple months, I'll get an office in one of the office buildings, and that office is going to be very focused on welcoming Pennsylvanians when they come to Washington and talking about the issues there. We had a couple of days of orientation, and we get all this normal administrative stuff, budgeting, and all the different training and all that stuff. And it was like your eyes start to roll in the back of your head. And then at the end of the second day, we walked into the chamber, and you're standing in the chamber. It's tiny, the Senate chamber, and you're looking, there's 100 desks, and you're looking up at these statues of Daniel Webster and, Robert F. Kennedy, and these other, great Americans. And there's only been 1,000 elected senators in the history of our country. And it's a big responsibility. And so it was sobering. I think I'm the 58th or 59th elected senator in Pennsylvania's history. And I felt the weight of that, the responsibility to go to Washington and, make a big difference. And I feel the responsibility and the weight of representing every Pennsylvanian, 50 percent, 50 plus 0.2% of Pennsylvania voters voted for me. So there's almost half of our voters who didn't vote for me. And I have the responsibility to serve them as honestly and as ably as I can. And I take it very seriously. And I'm anxious to get down there and get to work.
Senator-elect Dave McCormick, what do you make of these drones? Everybody's talking about the drones. Do you have an opinion on it? And
I don't know anything that other than I'm headed to Washington as we speak. I'm driving from Pittsburgh to Washington, and I'll hopefully get some briefings. But my big reaction is it's hard to imagine there's not something going on here that our government knows something about that it's not sharing. And I think that's part of the problem. I think people are losing trust in our government. They're losing trust in our political leaders because they're not sharing enough information with the voters. And I think the Chinese drone a year or so back, you remember that, we never really were told what was going on there. So I think when you're not told what's going on, you start to assume things that may or may not be true, and you start to lose faith in the people that presumably know. So whatever's going on, even if it's not a risk to us, I think the government has a responsibility to be more transparent than they're being. I looked it up this morning, what the Department of Homeland Security is saying. The Mayorkas, the Homeland Security Secretary, is essentially saying, you've got nothing to worry about, and this is business as usual, which is clearly, at least the second part's clearly not true. So I think we need more transparency. I don't know anything more than you do at this point, but I'll hopefully figure it out.
I know we've talked a lot about, your daughters, between you and Dina, you have 5. my sons. You've talked a lot about looking into social media and the connection between social media, crime, mental health issues with children under the age of 16. Is that something that's a priority for you?
Yeah, it's actually 6. I've got 6 daughters.
Oh, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've got my hands full. So I've got 7 powerful, opinionated women in my house, and that they keep me in check. Yeah, listen, I mean, my kids are well past that age, but I do think we have a crisis in our country in the sense that children are losing their connectivity to community and to, being able to socialize with others. There's certainly some connection with mental health. There's some efforts underway by some of the big social media companies to have much more parental regulation. So parents have to actually engage and set the parameters by which their kids can engage on social media. So I do think there needs to be something done in this area, hopefully in concert with the social media companies. I do think we have a mental health crisis with young people by any measure that we're under-investing in. And so that is something that I hope to be able to work on in the Senate. I'm not sure what my committees will be, but as someone with a parent of 6 daughters, I certainly feel an obligation to make sure that we're addressing this in a thoughtful way.
And finally, we all saw that you were at the Steelers. Eagles prevailed. I don't know who you were. I'm not sure. I saw that you put out a very diplomatic statement, but is your family split?
I'm a Steelers fan. I grew up rooting for the Steelers. When they're not playing the Eagles, I also root for the Eagles when they're not playing the Steelers, rather. So I'm hoping that sometime in the not too distant future we'll have a Super Bowl where we'll have the Eagles and the Steelers lined up. That would be a Keystone Super Bowl would be special. But listen, the Eagles were spectacular, and they did a great job. And sadly, but the good news is the Steelers are in the playoffs. So we're going to get to see some good football. I got a chance to go down on the field, which was incredible. As you know, it was a cold night, and a great day to be in Philadelphia.
Well, thanks. You've been, as always, generous with your time. Senator-elect Dave McCormick, I think I heard Zioli mention maybe he'll be there at your swearing in, but we'll all be there with you in spirit. Congratulations.
Great. Thanks so much. Nice to be with you, Nam. Bye-bye.
Safe travels, yeah. So that was wonderful that as he's making his way to Washington, I love hearing the inside story of, what they're talking about. So I wonder if you're in a box with, let's say, Trump, and he doesn't drink, I would imagine that kind of puts the kibosh on, you know what I mean? If the boss is not drinking, like if you were...
It's like when you go to a birthday party.
Right.
Yeah. And the person is someone who's sober. You don't bring a bottle of vodka with you, do you?
Or just have a beer, though. Would you... Dan, let's say here at Odyssey, you were invited, which none of us ever get invited into the Eagles box, right? No, but let's say let's just pretend, we'll fantasize. Mm-hmm. Let's say we were, and then the bosses, the biggity bigs, were not drinking and said, "Oh, I don't drink. Just don't go there." Then would you drink?
Well, I think our bosses drink.
Okay, bad
they
example.
Probably should at least.
But is there is that rude? Is there a protocol? Do you know what I mean? I don't even know.
I don't know. It's a good question. Or if you're with the client, and
they don't
drink. Yeah.
I mean, even if you sipped whatever, a cocktail or whatever, is that poor protocol?
I think my line's drawn at a professional setting. If it's some kind of professional, if you're there for work, then, maybe drink's not good. But if you're there personally, even though the person's not necessarily a drinker, if you got to loosen up a little bit, maybe you have a beer.
Yeah. I don't know. We got to ask you. 855.
Always be conscious if there's some kind of recovering alcoholic or something.
Yeah,
you got to keep the alcohol away.
Yeah,
you don't.
But some people who are like, I have a relative, an in-law, who says, "I'd appreciate if you didn't drink beer because that was my thing. Had a drinking issue, but anything else, like hated wine anyway." So he says, "So we just don't drink beer. We can have wine."
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder if it's the smell. It probably is the smell. I mean, beer has such a distinct smell that it's,
You're a big beer drinker?
Pavlov's dogs. The beer smell is
yum.
what triggers the, drool coming. Yeah.
855-839-1210. If you know of a protocol, we'd love to hear it, especially in the upcoming holiday season. So 855-839-1210. Appreciate you being here. Be right back.
For the area's finest dining experience with fabulous cuisine, extensive wine list, and waterfront views of the Philly skyline, visit the River Winds Restaurant in West Deptford, New Jersey. Enjoy entrees that feature certified Black Angus steaks and the freshest seafood while overlooking the Delaware River. River Winds can host your next special event. They'll plan your holiday party, family gathering, or corporate meeting in one of their newly renovated waterfront rooms, each with a private deck. For an incredible dining experience or special event, theriverwindsrestaurant.com.
It's officially the merry season, and B101, Philly's official Christmas station, is your home for holiday music. Spinning the biggest and best festive tracks all day long, now through Christmas Day. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Get your holiday fix on the radio at 101.1 FM. Ask your smart speaker to play B101 Philly, or listen on the go with the free Odyssey app.
Roofing or siding issues? Don't wait. Call Emmons Roofing and Siding.
We provide comprehensive roofing and siding services with a focus on quality and customer satisfaction. And our warranties ensure peace of mind for you and your family.
Protect your home with the best warranties available in the industry.
Call Emmons at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
It's a great month to get a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. You'll be thankful because there's so many fabulous offers to take advantage of. Lease an all-wheel drive XC90 for as low as $687 per month using all applicable rebates. Costco members save even more, up to $2,000 in additional rebates. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships really do matter.
As a bank, PNC prides themselves on being boring. But the truth is, they couldn't be more excited to serve the dynamic greater Philadelphia community. For nearly 160 years, they've quietly toiled away to deliver brilliant results for their equally brilliant clients. PNC has dedicated teams throughout the local area, all ready to do the boring work to help you unlock your own brilliance. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association member FDIC.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe you're underwater in the property. Or maybe you're just a tired landlord, tired of dealing with tenants. Listen, I can buy those properties, and I'll buy those properties fast. I can close in 2 weeks. I buy properties cash. My name is Larry Steinhaus. Give me a call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I will personally answer the call. You can also visit easyOutRealEstate.com. Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus from Investor Schooling. Did you know I have a radio show every Saturday from 1 to 3? It's called The Larry Steinhaus Show, and it's sponsored by Investor Schooling. On this show, you will learn things about finances and things about money that you never knew before. But even more of a reason to listen to this show is how much fun we have. If you haven't heard the banter between me, Omri, and Dr. Deb, you haven't heard the greatest show on earth. Listen to this show this Saturday at 1 o'clock right here on WPHT, and I promise you will learn something.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential.
But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The year-end save-a-thon is here at Hester Chevy of Philadelphia. Drive into the season in a 2025 Chevy Trax 2RS, just $325 a month for 36 months, or a 2025 Equinox LT, $399 a month for 36 months. Take advantage of the Red Tag Savings Event with 0% APR on select Chevy models. Learn more at HesterChevy.com. Hester Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Call 267-343-9094 for details.
Hester Chevrolet! Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now. Living with your love.
In the headlines today, Trump, RFK Jr., vaccines, a potential link with vaccines, talking about polio, but also talking about autism rates. And so just looking at the media and just looking at these headlines and the attack dogs going after RFK Jr., who this morning, again, is on Capitol Hill. The vetting process continues. But during Trump's first official media news conference since his re-election, where he was taking questions, one of the questions was about RFK Jr., was about vaccines. So let's listen to what Trump was commenting on when he was asked this question.
And we're looking to find out, if you look at autism, so 30 years ago I've heard numbers of like 1 in 200,000, 1 in 100,000. And now I'm hearing numbers of 1 in 100. So something's wrong. There's something wrong. And we're going to find out about it.
So we're going to find out about it. He's not saying that there is a link. He's saying something's wrong. Well, we kind of knew that, did we not? I've done so many interviews. One of the nation's and one of the world premier experts is actually in New Jersey, who I've interviewed at least once, who's done a 20-year study and says, unfortunately, they still cannot, they cannot figure out exactly what is causing this. And what's disturbing is the prevalence of autism rates, particularly in New Jersey, highest in the nation by far. And that's very concerning. I have 2 young relatives, niece and a nephew, one on the spectrum and the little girl, which girls with autism, very rare. I've talked about Karamia a lot. She's doing great. She's doing awesome. And so thank God for that. But we still don't know why. Why in New Jersey? Why is this happening? So I'm actually thankful that President-elect Trump has this on his radar, is talking about autism, because we haven't seen it in the news. I did not infer from that, maybe you did, that he's saying this is the cause. But we're hearing RFK Jr. is somebody who thinks that vaccines somehow cause that. I know that there was a time when even the Lancet, remember, and I've talked ad nauseum about this, the Lancet had published a study that has been proved false and is a horrifying situation where overseas there was a doctor involved in a lawsuit and basically doctored the research to make it look like this is really sick, for the purpose of to win a lawsuit, made it look like there could be a cause and effect between the vaccines and autism. And that freaked out everybody out, right? Legitimately, we were all talking about it. But that has been debunked completely. And there is no evidence, if you look it up yourself, talk to your pediatrician, there's no evidence that that's the cause. But that doesn't stop CNN, as Dana Bash was, and I think this just happened yesterday, Dana Bash, she was on with the fact checker, official CNN fact checker, Fact checker.
Check fecker.
Feckless. Check fecker. Say
Check
that.
fecker.
Boy, you get in
Sounds
trouble.
dirty.
You get in trouble if you say that 10
Watch
times
your
fast.
check fecker there.
Well, this is Daniel Dale talking to Dana Bash and saying this is dangerous.
He talked about polio, for example. So talk about what he said there and give us a bit of a fact check, which is so crucial.
Sure. So there was a lot of lying from the president-elect at this press conference,
A lot
but
of
I think
lying.
the most dangerous part was an equivocation. It wasn't really a claim, but he was asked whether he thought there was a link between vaccines and autism, and he equivocated. He said, well, we have some brilliant people looking at this, and he talked about the increased prevalence of autism diagnoses. Look, there is no link between vaccines and autism. This notion has been discredited by study after study over decades. The idea that there is some connection came from a thoroughly discredited, in fact, scandalous, fraudulently altered study in the 1990s that should just be ignored, dismissed again because it was fraudulent. And so the idea that, well, we're just going to look into this, I think is dangerous to consider because the idea is simply wrong.
I would say about his comment, first of all, saying it's dangerous. The truth is, what did Trump really say? You heard what he said. He said the truth. This is very concerning. We've known this. Now, you've heard me say this for years, and you can call 855-839-1210 if you want to sound off on it. But, you know, I've said for years that one of the pieces of this is that we now have a spectrum. And even Elon Musk his mom had come out and said he has Asperger's, which is technically on the spectrum. So we hear about the spectrum. We've been educated on that. But still, if you look at it, there's something going on here.
Yep.
Is it environmental? You know, and why New Jersey?
Yeah.
You know.
And my thing, my whole questioning, and I'm with you 100% on all of this, and you're 100% on point. But to add on to that, I go back to coronavirus, for example. And it seems like it developed even faster then, but being someone that's looked into conspiracies for a long time, I've seen it over and over again. But just asking simple questions like, did it come from a lab? And being responded with, no, and shush, and that's, you're not allowed to talk about that. I'm so sick of this environment that's developed. We live in a world where we have access to so much information online, yet we're being told to censor ourselves and not ask certain questions. And you know what? It's just a question. Autism seems to be rising. You look around, it's very apparent in anybody's life that it's happening. So questions should be asked, and they shouldn't be silenced. They shouldn't be fact-checked down like this you're hearing on CNN. You're 100% right. So many what the hell are the drones in the sky? Another one. Why are we being told, stop asking questions about them? So I'm sick of this, and I can't wait for Trump presidency and RFK, because that's what RFK wants to do. It's not that he wants to ban stuff or change how things are done. He just wants to look into things in a world where pharmaceutical companies are so strong that they don't allow people to look into things.
Yeah, and so you think about autism rates, just to give you some of the latest research, and I know I won't spend a ton of time, but just to think about, and they don't even discuss what you're saying, Dan, on with Dana Bash and her. Mm-hmm. What did I call him? The feckless fact checker. Check fecker. Autism rates tripling among children in the New York and New Jersey, especially the metropolitan areas. When you look at from 2000 to 2016, and this is the journal Pediatrics, there are some wonderful, and this is not political, there are some wonderful researchers who are dedicated, who have poured their hearts and their time and dedicated their time into figuring out the why. Why have we seen these autism rates just skyrocket, especially New Jersey, highest rates in the nation? So is it environmental? Is it something we're eating? Is it something in the water? What is that, right? And it's not about a vaccine. It's not about politics. These researchers, and I remember, I believe it was Rutgers, the one researcher who's so dedicated, who has spent more than 2 decades, pretty much his entire career and more, on this very issue, and talking about autism rates and studying children in New Jersey. So they have some new clues, and talking about neurodevelopmental disorders and figuring all of that out and working together. But listen, if the incoming administration is going to dedicate, think of all the stupid studies that are going to come out, by the way. This is the end of the year. They put it, this is like the time of year when these pork, the pork projects, and they're funding all these crazy studies to bring pork projects. Think about the new administration. What they want to do, clearly, is they hope to spend more money, high-quality dollars on high-quality studies that get to the bottom of this. So I'll also point out that despite all the studies, when Karamia was born, right, she's a beautiful young lady. They told Jeannie and Mike Monachetti, Mike's Seafood. Many of you have gone to the Polar Plunge and all the autism fundraisers at Mike's Seafood, and you know that Karamia, when she was born, Jeannie had said, "I just want my daughter to say I love you," and I'm going to make you verklempt. They said the odds of that are just the odds of Karamia saying I love you very small. And so guess what? That's they're saying, Karamia, love you, and she says love you. She's doing great.
That's amazing.
Just so the studies are often wrong, right? So we've got to work together and not make it politicized. So there's my little love bug story, and she loves music. She's doing awesome. Thank you for your prayers. All right. Look, I got the memo. Dan, you'll laugh at this. I got the memo. Dave Dorenzo said, "Hey, Ken Chase mentioned you were talking about this is a gift of conservative tours once again, Northern Italia, which I'm in love. Our trip is upcoming. I hope you join me." They said, "You need to let us know for sure. It's the four of you because this is booking up. We would hate to say, sorry, Michael and David can't come." Or maybe it'd be David and Larry. I don't know. Maybe, it'd be like Sophie's Choice. Who do I take? So that's how down to the wire we
like
are.
A game show.
Which will Dawn choose to
bring like a big spinning board. Remember Double Dare on Nickelodeon?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We could have fun with this. And so many of you on our trip last year, I know you're going. We're going to have a blast. I can't wait. Everybody was asking me at the party. They're like, is it booked up? I said, it really is. We got just a few, maybe a couple spots left. So you got to do this. Yes, Lorenzo and Romina, they're going to be back with us. Conservative Tours, crafting this itinerary, which includes Tuscany, the Riviera, the Northern Italian Lakes region, Cinque Terre. Yes, the dining events. Remember the dining events to write home about. They're incredible. This is a trip of a lifetime. $53.78. Yes, that includes your airfare. Pisa, Michelangelo's Florence, the fashion capital of Milan. You better call today, 888-733-9494. Just go to conservativetours.com. Luxury hotels, a Mercedes coach, and a tour leader who I can promise you is absolutely the best. That's Conservative Tours in Italy. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Charming Siena, home to Il Palio, the medieval Manhattan, San Gimignano, Medina, Lake Como, Vernazia. And yes, you got to join me next spring. Do this. The trip of a lifetime. See you in Portofino, conservativetours.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hi, everyone. This is Dom Giordano here with my friend and dentist, Dr. Robert Bentz of the Bentz Dental Group. Dr. Bentz, it's good for everyone to know you have the technology and the people to help. Like John, that guy is an artisan of teeth.
Having the expertise or the knowledge, having this equipment added to that just allows me to get those consistent, efficient results, and it builds up your confidence in my abilities. Having somebody like John, who's been in this business for decades, is a big help. He's able to come in using this equipment, and he helps me build the case as I'm actually doing the work. And that is unbelievably second to none for that, because that is a benefit I'm blessed with, to have that ability to have that lab here.
Dr. Bentz and the team at Bentz Dental Group provide solutions for the most complex dental cases. Call Dr. Bentz today at 610-272-6949 or visit BentzDentalGroup.com. Bentz Dental Group, say it with a smile.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
Give the gift of flavor this holiday season with Hatfield Pork.
Whether you're hosting a big family gathering or cozy candlelit dinner, Hatfield bacon, ham, marinated tenderloins, ground pork, and sausage will transform your holiday meal into a savory celebration. Share the joy of great taste this season. Visit simplyhatfield.com for recipes and retail partners near you. Happy holidays from your friends at Hatfield.
Don't go through another winter spending your hard-earned money on high heating costs or wrapped in the blankets on the couch as cold air comes rushing through your old drafty windows and doors. Upgrade your home with professionally installed energy-efficient windows and doors from my good friends at Guida Door and Window. Guida is celebrating the holidays with their big end-of-year sales event. Get 40% off each window you buy. Yep, 40% off every professionally installed window. You'll also receive 40% off any door, including entry doors, patio doors, garage doors, and storm doors. And don't worry about touching your holiday money because Guida will start your project with no money down and allow you to pay it off interest-free for up to 12 months. If you need new windows and doors, then you need to go Guida right now so you can take advantage of these huge savings. All prior sales excluded. Offer expires December 31st. So call Guida today to schedule a free in-home estimate at 877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's go, GUIDA.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415. Or find them online at retirereadyfg.com and get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? What? Do it today at 1210 WPHT.
Are you ready for the holidays? Is your shopping all done? We have to ask you that. 855-839-1210. No, I'm not done either. I was working so much, as the election, then Thanksgiving was late. Jury duty. It's been crazy. Speaking of which, by the way, people have been sick. Not me. Knock wood. That's all we need, right?
I don't have any wood around here to knock on, do we?
By the way, the suspect, Luigi Mangione's preliminary hearing rescheduled for later this week. So that developing story this morning, I've been covering this morning, saying we're expecting to get news that he will be extradited from his Pennsylvania jail cell where he's being held to New York, has a new attorney. But now they're saying that his court appearance that was supposed to be, I guess, they're putting it to this Thursday, December 19th, 8:30 in the morning. So but we're still hearing about extradition. So it'll be there in Blair County, Pennsylvania, at the courthouse in Hollidaysburg, PA. So I'll keep you posted on it. I was covering it this morning. There was thought that maybe they would get him extradited as soon as today. So I don't know what this means. Does this mean he won't be extradited today. I'm not sure, but we'll keep you posted for sure. Listen, we have Dr. Carol in the house, our favorite psychologist, so we'll talk to her about all of these issues, whether it's here in talking about Luigi, whether it's about the school shooter in Madison, Wisconsin, or whether it's about the issue in Philadelphia with the statistics referenced by Mayor Parker yesterday. Why is it that criminals and victims are getting younger and younger, as young as 13? What's going on here? We have so many questions right around the corner.
With a new administration bringing optimism back into the nation, it's more important now than ever before to become crash-proof.
Anthony Torelli, Clifton Heights, Pennsylvania. If President Trump can do what he did in his previous term as president and get the economy booming again, then that will be great for crash-proof, and it'll be great for my family and my future. This year, our portfolio grew by 15.7%. If I had left my funds with my previous advisor, that money would have returned about 8 to 9%, and we outperformed my previous advisor 2-1. That's interest credit that we're not going to lose with no fees involved. I'm glad the market's up, and I hope it continues to go up. But at some point, the market's going to come down again, and I'm guaranteed not to lose anything. We can continue on this pathway to success with crash-proof retirement.
You don't have to choose between security and opportunity. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the Copperfield Inn on January 22nd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
It's a great month to get a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. You'll be thankful because there's so many fabulous offers to take advantage of. Lease an all-wheel drive XC90 for as low as $687 per month using all applicable rebates. Costco members save even more, up to $2,000 in additional rebates. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships really do matter.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply at lifemd.com. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
Should GLP-1 weight loss medication like Wegovy and Zepbound cost hundreds of dollars? We don't think so. TryLifeMD.com helps provide insurance access to the leading GLP-1 medications. Visit TryLifeMD.com to get your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility in minutes. Listen to Tara's story after losing 42 pounds.
You just take your shot. It doesn't feel like you're on a diet. What I wasn't expecting it to do was to shut off the food noise. I'd gone from 237 to 195. This was life-altering, and if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
Get started right now with your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility for coverage in minutes at TryLifeMD.com. That's TryLifeMD.com.
It's that time of year again. Hi, it's George Parenti, the lead dog at the Dogs and Cats Rule stores. If you're a pet parent like I am, you know that the holidays are just as important to our four-legged kids as they are to us. At the Dogs and Cats Rule stores, our goal is to make your holiday shopping easier. When it comes to getting the cutest Christmas-themed toys, collars, and leads, we have absolutely everything. That's Dogs and Cats Rule, now with 7 convenient locations. Shop small, shop local, shop family. Happy holidays from all of us at Dogs and Cats Rule.
Do you have shoeboxes full of old videotapes and photos? Starting now, radio listeners get access to our best last-minute holiday deals from Legacy Box. Get your family's videotapes converted for just $9 and photos professionally scanned for as low as 7 cents each, which is 76% less than what other brands charge. As the world's largest digitizer, you know you can trust Legacy Box to digitize your entire collection of old media. Everything from the embarrassing haircut you had in the 90s to photos of your great-grandma's wedding. Visit legacybox.com/value to get 200 photos scanned starting at just $19.95. Oh, and don't forget, Legacy Box also digitizes over 15 other types of analog media. It's the most meaningful gift you can give this holiday season. Take advantage of this exclusive last-minute holiday offer from Legacy Box. Go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Yeah, and the doctor, our doctor, is in the house or on the couch, Dr. Carol's couch. Dr. Carol Lieberman, who's an MD, MPH, America's psychiatrist, a board-certified psychiatrist, best-selling author. Let's get to it good morning, Dr. Carol Lieberman, as we talk about new demands for transparency with drones. We have in the news here in Philadelphia as well as Madison, Wisconsin, young kids becoming victims of shootings or are the alleged perpetrators of those, getting younger and younger. So it's timely that you're here and to, what do you always say? You're a sanctuary for sanity. So good morning.
Yes, thank you.
So can you take me through as far as, first of all, you're probably getting this too. Everywhere I go, whether it's holiday parties, work, everybody's talking about the drones hovering over everybody's homes in these, sensitive areas, as they're called, power sources, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and beyond. A lot of people concerned about this. At the state level, our governor, Josh Shapiro, and New Jersey's governor as well, demanding answers. But at the federal level, they double down and say, oh, nothing to see here, nothing to worry about. And so I'll ask you two questions. Do you think that, that's good for the psychology of people here to just go, oh, sure, there's nothing to worry about? And then also little kids hear us talking about it, right, as the grown-ups, and it worries them. So how to talk to your child about something like this in the headlines?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, whatever the drones are, what's even more worrisome is the fact that our government isn't telling us about it and just expecting us to be idiots and believe that they don't know what it is or that, look away. There's nothing here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that makes one think, first of all, if presumably they do know what it is, because otherwise they would be scrambling to figure it out too. There are a number of things that it could be. People are making, we're left to just hypothesize about what it could be. Certainly, one of the scariest things would be that it's some foreign country. To me, it seems the most likely thing to me is Iran, because they've seen a mothership leave Iran and come come closer to America. Mm-hmm. We know that Iran is we know first of all that Obama and Biden are BFFs with Iran because they've been giving Iran billions and billions of dollars, and which financed Iran's proxies, Hezbollah and Hamas, to attack Israel, and so it just seems most likely that and now here's the thing. The main thing is it has to have something to do with Trump, because I don't mean that he's causing it in any way, but I mean people or an organization or a group or a country who don't want Trump to be inaugurated. I think that the main purpose of this is to stop him from being inaugurated, because people know in our country and in other countries that when he gets inaugurated, he's a new sheriff in town, and life is not going to be, people aren't going to get away with stuff that they've been getting away with. And so it would be somebody or some country or some group who doesn't want to not be able to get away with what they've been getting away with.
And so, Dr. Carol, my question is, and you're somebody who's even, one of your best-selling books, Lions and Tigers and Terrorists, Oh My, and it's the first book about terrorism for kids. So this is a theory, and I was at a party over the weekend, family party, and the grown-ups are talking, and kids, from ages 12 to 2, they're hearing the grown-ups with theories just like you're saying, right?
Yes.
And so as somebody who's, you've written the first book about terrorism for kids, And I'll just be honest. One of the little kids asked me, and I said, "Well, honey, I really think it's Santa's elves working out the new routes because I don't want you know what I mean? I don't want a little 6-year-old who's hearing this to lose sleep over it. Is that bad? Is that what's your advice to people?
Well, that's a creative answer. Okay. Well, first of all, what I tell people in regard to terrorism, and it really relates, to this too, or anything in the news that's potentially scary, is that the first rule is to realize that kids know more about these things than we give them credit for. And the way that they know about it, now they don't necessarily know the right answer. We don't know the right answer. So obviously the kids are going to be super confused. And the thing is that they not only do they see things on television, hear things on the radio, look on the internet, but also they overhear parents talking. And they at school, the main issue is at school because they're going to hear kids who are older than they are talking about all kinds of ideas of what this could be. And, the kids at school or older kids especially like to scare the younger kids. So they're going to make it into something really scary. So I think you're kind of at least 5 or 6 years old and up. You have to give some, I recommend in any case, that you give some kind of a related answer. Do you know what I mean? In this case, of course, it's so hard because it could be anything. Yes. But you could say something like, excuse me, well, we're studying it. We're not quite sure, but the problem is parents always want to say it'll be okay. It's nothing to worry about, kind of like what the government is saying to us.
Exactly.
So this is a little harder than terrorism because with terrorism, as I explain in my book, you want the kids to understand what a terrorist is and why they are that way, why they want to kill us, and you do want to give some backstory, obviously. More depending upon the age and the psychological maturity of the child. But with the drones, it is really hard because it could be it could be anything.
Yes.
And a lot of things that it could be are very scary. So I mean, I guess for now your elves are just as good as anything else.
the
main thing is to explain that we're working on it, that we're investigating it.
Yes, that they're as one of the kids said, well, I think that if they were bad guys, they would turn their lights off. And I thought that was pretty astute, quite frankly. They do have bright lights on, so there's that. I wanted
you happy, Fred? Will it?
What? I wanted to pivot to talking about vaccines, immunizations in the headlines, the polio immunization in the headlines. I know that you had talked about mandatory lockdowns, and you had been asked a lot during the pandemic about the coronavirus shot or so-called vaccine is not an immunization like polio. But what's your take on all of this as they, first of all, in the news, the polio immunization, and then as well with that, the wording of did RFK Jr. or somebody that's his advisor question with regard to vaccines and autism. What's your take on all of that, Dr. Carroll?
Well, as far as the vaccines for COVID, I have been against them from the beginning, and I never got a COVID shot, and I didn't let my daughter get a COVID shot. And, of course, now I'm very glad that I didn't get it and didn't let her get it because, we're finding out more and more reactions, side effects, and so on. And as far as what was the other one that you were asking about?
Well, and there's a lot that I've gone through with the headlines.
Oh, about autism.
Autism, polio,
Yes. Yes. That idea has been around for a while, and I don't know if you saw the movie. Do you remember? This is maybe 8 years ago or so. There was a movie about that. I guess I'm not sure if RFK Jr. was involved with. I think he was involved with the movie, but it showed how it was like a documentary, and it showed how the vaccine or vaccines that they were connecting to autism, how they came about, and about basically not trusting the NIH and so on. And I don't know the answer to that, because it was very persuasive. I will say that the movie was very persuasive. But and it's children are getting so many more vaccines these days than I ever got as a child. And I will say that it's a bit of overkill. And now that we saw what happened with COVID, how the big pharma was pushing these vaccines, so that they could make a lot of money. Then it has made me rethink all these other vaccines that kids are being made to take. I mean, when I was growing up, we used to get measles and mumps and chickenpox, and it didn't kill us. I mean, yes, I know there's a small percentage where it can have a bad effect. It can have side effects. I mean, you can having the illness itself, like mumps, for example, can cause problems in boys. But it's such a small percentage. And so all of these, it's a vaccine for everything. And yes, I think the polio vaccine did save a lot of people, from getting polio. So you can't make a sweeping generalization necessarily. But I think all of these vaccines need to be looked at again and really assessed as to how safe they are, and all of them together. That's the thing. Even if they are safe individually, the idea of all of them together, so many together, and the question of autism and other things, I think needs to be looked at.
Yeah, and I think we also need to, even in the news and information business, we need to think about differentiating between something like an immunization, right? You mentioned chickenpox or polio. There's a huge difference between something that wipes out, eradicates a horrible disease, and then a flu shot or a COVID shot. And I think sometimes we haven't done a good enough job, I'll just say, in the media or the information business, of differentiating them and calling them by different names. And that's, to your point, really is saying, okay, what ones are absolutely, things that have eradicated these horrible childhood diseases and just gotten rid of them, versus something that's just a yearly thing, or every 5 years or whatever. So I wanted to go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I wanted to move on to the issue of this issue of a 15-year-old in Madison, Wisconsin. We have this horrible school shooting, deadly school shooting. Obviously, somebody with mental health issues turning the gun on herself. And then at the same time, our mayor, Sherelle Parker in Philadelphia, had a news conference yesterday, talked about the fact that even though in Philadelphia and cities like Philadelphia in particular, really dealing with the issue of violence in the city, but when we look at the stats, specifically the younger and younger perpetrators as well as victims. So we have, as I speak, two 14-year-olds and a 15-year-old. One of them shot in the face in Christmas Village, in a beautiful, right near our beautiful city, all lit up so beautifully. Many, tourists and residents coming to celebrate. And just the question of why is it that we have this mental health crisis and young kids, 12, 13 to 15, becoming more and more violent?
Well, there are a lot of factors that go into it. One of them, I think the biggest one, or one of the biggest ones, is violent video games. I have been talking about violent video games for years. And, originally I was the head of the National Coalition on TV Violence. And so originally we were talking about TV violence and movie violence. But then video games came about. And video game violence is even worse because, first of all, the storylines and the pictures and all of that are a lot worse than television and movies. And the main part that makes it worse is that you are the one pushing the button, to shoot somebody or to knife somebody, or, so you are involved in the story and you get practice. I mean, they use these for the military, to give the military practice on killing people so that they are desensitized to it when they join the military and they go into another country and they have to shoot people.
Mm-hmm.
So, if it works that way for the military, of course it's working that way for kids. And the problem starts with parents. There's a certain profile. Of course, whenever there's a school shooting, I mean, just like clockwork, we have people coming out and saying, "Oh, we got to get rid of the guns. It's the guns." And of course. And it's not the guns, because when there aren't guns, people use knives, like in England with the shooting or the knifing of the little girls at that Taylor Swift party, I mean, you don't need a gun. And so, but what it is starts with parents. Children come from a dysfunctional home. Mm-hmm. And in particular, there is abuse in the home. They are being abused. And they are sexually abused or physically abused or abused by neglect. And that, of course, gives them time that makes them angry, and gives them time and reason to play violent video games and to express their anger, which doesn't really get rid of it. There were some people, I don't think they're still, I don't know, I guess there are some people still trying to use that argument that, oh, no, this gets rid of the child's anger. But it doesn't. It exacerbates it. To whatever degree they get it out, they also get it added to. The number of hours that a child or an adult, for that matter, plays violent video games, that is the number their aggression is increased that many times. Like the more hours they play, the more they are increased in their aggression. And it's not that everybody is going to become a serial killer or a school shooter, but we see it in other parts of our life too, like in air rage and in parking lot rage and domestic violence. And our society, ever since the lockdowns, where, it's called bedroom terrorists, ever since the lockdowns, where people had all the time in the world to spend playing violent video games, they came out of the lockdowns armed for bear, ready for bear. And so we have a much more violent society than we had before the lockdowns and COVID and all that. And so there's that. So the parents' abuse, the child playing violent video games. Every school shooter has been addicted to violent video games. That's the one thing that is common that we know of that's been common to all of them. I mean, I'm sure also they had abusive parents and all these other things, but they have found out every single child school shooter has been addicted to violent video games. What else? Also, they are typically bullied in school, bullied and or isolated. They're the kid who's sitting at lunch alone. They don't do well in school for the most part. And the reason why they're bullied is because bullies have radar for picking out the kids who are the most troubled, the least well-adjusted, because they know that the bullying is going to have the biggest effect on the kids who are, very are put together with Scotch tape, and they want with their bullying to have this big effect on the child who they're bullying. What else? They also, of course, have mental health problems. They can be sometimes like garden variety, relatively minor problems like depression or anxiety, or sometimes they're more serious like schizophrenia or manic depressive illness or, bipolar.
And so that brings me to the issue of medication, because some of these individuals, and we don't report on this enough, but maybe they're on various medications that are interacting. Do you think the medication that kids are on nowadays is an issue?
Well, there is a big problem with medication, but not in the way that has been talked about. the problem with medication, the problem is that psychiatrists, because of insurance companies deciding that it's cheaper to pay a psychologist or a social worker to do therapy, 45-minute, 50-hour therapy, than it is to pay a psychiatrist who's an MD to do therapy. So they pay these other professionals who don't have an MD to do therapy, and the amount that they pay the psychiatrist is so little that most psychiatrists, not me, not I, said the little red hen, but I still, I was trained. You do therapy, and if the person needs medication, you prescribe medication. But the root of all treatment should be psychotherapy. And no medication will help a person with whatever problems, psychological problems that they have. No medication alone will solve that problem. You need to have the therapy to get to the root of the problem. And then, yes, sometimes, you may also need medication to help the person be able to hear the therapy or participate in the therapy. And in certain disorders like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, you do need to be on medication for life, kind of like diabetes. But it is not what's happening today is people go to a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist sees them for 15 minutes to a half an hour and doesn't ask them about their childhood or about, doesn't go deep into what's really bothering them. And they just, pick out a medication and give them a prescription and tell them to come back in a month. Well, that's a prescription for disaster because, and that is what's happening, but it would be patients because, and sometimes, it takes a while, first of all, for things like antidepressants to work. And you need to know the right dose, and you need to see these people every week if you're giving them medication to adjust the medication and to see whether this is a medication that works or whether you need to give another medication. But what they do is when the person comes back in a month, again, they don't really get into the problems, but they just give them another prescription because the first prescription didn't work. So they just pile prescription upon prescription upon prescription, and it is very bad in many ways. The side effects, that is not the way to fix any psychological problem.
As far as which brings me to Luigi Mangione, who's expected to waive extradition here in Pennsylvania to New York. But one of the things that I think surprised people, he's from an affluent family. He was valedictorian of his private exclusive high school, had all of the bona fides, UPenn, Ivy League education, had all kinds of friends. What do you see when you see this case?
Well, I don't condone, of course, anybody killing anybody, but if you look into his whole background, which I have been doing because I've been talking about him a lot, it's not, it's not as easy. Just because somebody is rich doesn't mean and smart doesn't mean that they have it together. He had lots of problems starting in childhood. He started having back problems in childhood, and it doesn't seem to me like his parents, took him to get enough treatment or to look into it enough. He also got Lyme disease when he was 13, and that caused brain fog, which then got worse when he was in college and went through hazing. Then his back problems got worse, and in around 2022, when he was he was already having a lot of back pain because he has spondylolisthesis, which is that's slipped discs that slip and land on nerves, and so you get all kinds of nerve pain. And he had numbness in his genitalia. And, imagine a 26-year-old, 26-year-old kid who can't have sex. There were lots of things in his mother. He talks about his mother who made him eat with his right hand when he was lefty. I don't think, his grandparents were super rich, but I don't think his own parents were that super wealthy because, and he was estranged from them, certainly since July 1st. His mother hadn't heard from him since July 1st, 2024. And she reported him missing in mid-November. Now, excuse me. Now, I know he traveled. He went to Hawaii twice, and he went to Japan. and he probably traveled other places. But your child, you don't have contact with your child since July 1st, and you wait till mid-November to report him missing. I mean, there is some kind of estrangement and problem there.
I'd be freaking out. July 2nd, I'd be freaking out.
I mean, yeah. And so, we don't know all of the details of what these problems are, but I think he has been troubled for a long time. And the thing is, like his high school speech, he talked about, you could tell that he was someone who expected to do and wanted to do big things in his life.
Yeah.
And between the brain fog and his back injury, he realized that he couldn't do them. And I think that he was suicidal when he killed the CEO, and this was going to be his last hurrah. He liked the Unabomber. He liked how he how smart he was, and how he had these beliefs, the Unabomber, and I'm not saying that he necessarily agreed with bombing all these. In fact, he had thought about bombing United Healthcare and then decided not to because he didn't want other people to be hurt or killed. So I think this was his way of going out with a big hurrah, affecting society, trying to do something good for society, and then I hope he's on suicide watch. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's what we hear. So, and we expect to hear within the next 48 hours whether he will indeed be extradited. Well, listen, we'll leave it there. Dr. Carol Lieberman, Dr. Carol's Couch is your podcast. You have you're an author of incredible books. Thank you so much for your time and all these great explanations and details. Thank you, Dr. Carol.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
Have a blessed day. So if you have an opinion or a take on some of what we talked about, we covered a lot there, 855-839-1210. We'll take a quick break. Be right back.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. Your boxes are wrapped and the gifts are in. Our employees are ready. Let the holiday ride begin. Let's start with the price. It's easy to manage when you ship with the reliable USPS Ground Advantage. In just a few days, it's sure to arrive. We're working nonstop to keep the spirit alive. USPS Ground Advantage, the affordable and reliable shipping solution for the holidays. Visit USPS.com/advantage.
For the area's finest dining experience with fabulous cuisine, extensive wine list, and waterfront views of the Philly skyline, visit the River Winds Restaurant in West Deptford, New Jersey. Enjoy entrees that feature certified Black Angus steaks and the freshest seafood while overlooking the Delaware River. River Winds can host your next special event. They'll plan your holiday party, family gathering, or corporate meeting in one of their newly renovated waterfront rooms, each with a private deck. For an incredible dining experience or special event, theriverwindsrestaurant.com.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process process ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Venaria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Venaria is and has been my dentist also. And doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Venaria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Venaria's office does everything. Dr. Venaria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit venariadental.com.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. Each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, this is Howard Eskin, and you can get game day and holiday ready with Jack Daniels at your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirit store. Pick up the original Jack Daniels Tennessee Whiskey, Jack Fire, or Jack Honey 1.75 milliliter bottles, all for $3 off. Or a 4-pack of Jack and Coke, or Jack and Coke Zero Sugar. Now ready to drink in a can. Jack Daniels, born for the tailgate. And please drink responsibly.
Especially 7% ABV. Jack Daniels Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and all number 7 are registered trademarks of Jack Daniels Properties Inc. Coca-Cola is a registered trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
Did you know this is the busiest season for plumbers? All the parties, tons of people eating at one house. That's when garbage disposals get treated like wood choppers and pipes get backed up like the airport at Thanksgiving. Blah. But don't worry, Horizon Services has the experts in same-day service to handle it all. Clogs, leaks, busted pipes. And right now you'll get $50 off any plumbing repair. Horizon will also give you up to $400 off any water heater installation. I mean, if you like hot showers. Book today at horizonservices.com.
Gerhardt's Appliances has what you need to be tailgate ready this season for the birds. Whether it's the in-home appliances needed to prepare your famous Kelly green pepper casserole before pregame, or the barbecue grills you'll need to fire up the last of your sausage links in the parking lot before kickoff, Gerhardt's has you covered with the best game day deals on appliances. Gerhardt's Appliances, helping Philly sports fans get the season cooking since 1945. Visit Gerhardt'sAppliance.com.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
Exactly. That's why I use NordVPN every time I surf the web. Features like Threat Protection Pro's safeguard devices from phishing websites and disable intrusive ads and trackers. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Weather sponsored by Winter Ford.
A milder air mass has returned to the Delaware Valley today. We'll have clouds giving way to some sunshine this afternoon, high around 60. Tonight, mostly clear and chilly, low 39 for the city, colder out in the suburbs, and increasing clouds on Wednesday, some rain developing late with a high 52.
The Winter Ford Cherry Hill Get Holiday Ready sales event. See Dino Rucci and his team for discounts and rebates up to $10,000 on new Fords. Call 800-428-4000 for details. Check your savings at winterford.com.
Hey, this is Jimmy Fallon in the house, and dig this, folks. This is not a drill. It's the real thing. You can now join me weeknights from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT or anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
So there's word that, remember the manhunt that we had talked about last week for a murder on the main line? The second wanted person for that home invasion that turned deadly, Lower Marion Township. Talked about this last week a lot. And this was the one that was the shooting of a 61-year-old Bernadette Gaudio and her son in his 20s who was killed in that burglary home invasion. So they were searching for 42-year-old Kelvin Roberts of Philadelphia. He has been arrested and is in custody. Remember that we had told you about the mom. One of her older sons had spoken out. This was her baby, her youngest son in his 20s, 25, I believe, Andrew. And he was trying to be a human shield and protect mom. She was in bed at the time. And so her son Andrew was killed. She survived, but at this point we're told they don't know if she'll ever walk again. Oh my goodness, just a tragic story there. But at least police have done their job. I think Abington police may have assisted in that, so maybe connections between other alleged situations. So we're watching that. But I know I reported on it a lot last week. It was disturbing. So they have now both suspects, they say, in custody. So good police work. Let's move on and talk about taxes. I talked a lot about over the last couple of weeks. Montgomery County, your taxes going up again. We talked about Delaware County. Many of you very upset in Delco with a nearly 28% tax increase in less than 2 years. Wow, that's huge. And now on to Chester County. Let's bring in John. You wanted to talk about taxes in Chester County. Hey, John.
Hi, Dawn. How are you today?
Good.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak to you.
Yeah, of course.
So tomorrow, the Chester County Commissioners, who are Democrat controlled, are planning on having a meeting on a 13.9% rate hike in our county taxes.
Ouch.
Yeah. And like Delco and these others, I mean, I don't know. The federal government keeps telling me the rate of inflation has dropped down to 2.7%. Why do I need a almost 14% rate increase in my county taxes? Maybe we should look at places to save money instead of to just spend money. But that's never been their modus operandi. So,
I mean, it's, John, it's amazing to me. And, Trump talked about this on the campaign trail, that he had said there was a time in this country when if somebody promised you that they were going to raise your taxes, automatically that disqualified a candidate. I mean, what do you make of this? This is Montgomery County, Delaware County, now Chester County. I mean, what's up?
They're doing this, a week and a half before Christmas, that they're going to have this meeting. And, of course, it's a 10 a.m. county commissioner meeting. It's just like Bucks County's issues with Diane and, all the other counties.
Yeah.
And, the real question that I have to them is, I live in a development that started 4 years ago. Let me tell you, the development I live in, they get a lot of property, a lot of county taxes out of this development. A lot of county taxes out of this development. And that's fine. That's part of the deal when you know what you're coming in. But when you keep having to pay these increases that are, well, it's almost like, higher education, kept going up 10, 12, 14% a year, during the 90s and the 2000s and the, 20 teens and all. And what was that money going to? I mean, it didn't increase the educational level of the students that they produced. These taxes are not providing any better services to me. I don't know exactly where the money's going. Maybe the worst thing that happened to them is that I retired this summer and have had a lot more free time to do things like volunteer with Early Vote Action and, get involved in the community and the county and things like that. And, I just don't understand how these people think that they can continue to hoodwink the public, except for the fact that we don't really have a newspaper out here. I mean, we have the Daily Local as part of that mass media group, but but it's so thin. There's no information in there. Everything's from the Associated Press.
Yeah.
They don't really cover anything in Chester County. Of course, we have the big voice of 1210 WPHT that broadcasts out here, but we don't really have we used to have when I was growing up in the county. We used to have WCHE and WCOJ out of Chester County and Coatesville, and we don't really have those anymore where people get the local news and everybody you go online, but no one goes and looks at the news. They did the county burn down? No? Okay, well then that was the end of that's all they looked at.
Let me ask you something. I mean, is there a push for? Did they do an audit? That's what always makes me. I just do a second take, because whenever you're going to raise taxes that much, like let's say in Delaware County or now Chester County, if it goes through, it's 13.47%, nearly 13.5 percentage points. So for taxes to go up, did they do an audit first to justify, that
Not
tax
that I'm
hike?
aware of. Not that I'm aware of, but that question will be asked tomorrow at the 10 a.m. meeting.
Well, I want to hear more. It'll happen during the show, so I wish we could take it live somehow, take a piece of it.
Yeah.
But that's just it. People have to be aware of what's going on, and that's a big piece of this. Like you're saying, people are just not paying attention. Then all of a sudden, you get your tax bill. You say, "Well, what happened here? How did this happen?" And so,
how, why, who, what, when?
Yes.
No, absolutely. I will definitely keep in touch. I mean,
Thank you.
I'm a loyal listener to you
Thanks,
and to 1210 and to Dom and Rich and everybody. So,
thank you.
And I want to wish you and your family and all the family there at 1210 a Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and Happy Holiday Season. So.
Thanks, John. Back at you. And from Dan, I see Dan nodding. Dom is over. I see him prepping in his studio. We really appreciate your kind words, and please let us know if there's any, whatever happens tomorrow out of the meeting. We would, no matter what show it happens, and we'd love, right, Dan? We'd love to hear, if there's something that's a vote, a result. We'd love to hear it.
I will be monitoring, because usually these things,
Dan.
well, not usually, but sometimes these things are broadcast online. So hopefully we can pick up some audio and play it back as it happens.
Thanks, John. Back at you, and have a blessed Christmas, blessed holiday, Hanukkah. Speaking of the holidays, oh man, I was so thankful yesterday for whatacrock.com, because as you know, I had jury duty in the right before the holidays. So not at work, but still doing jury duty. Then ding ding ding, snuck over to Macy's. I've admitted to you I did that. And tried to do a little holiday shopping. But whatacrock.com, I just plunk the meal, literally. There's no prep, nothing. Just in the slow cooker in the morning. And then by the time I got home, it just smells so good. And Larry and the boys are like, "Mom, what smells so good?" Yesterday I did the grandma's homemade meatballs, and Larry was like, "Oh my gosh, this is your meatballs. I don't know what you're doing differently, but they're the best ever." It's sort of like, do you admit that at that point that it's what a crock?
You can't admit it, right?
I did. Okay, I admit. Sometimes I don't, but I did. I was like, whatacrock.com. But seriously, they have rescued me on so many days like yesterday where it's so hectic, especially this time of year. So they've always got me covered. Unlike most meal kit companies, and this is crucial, there is zero prep required at all. Cleanup, because you can order when you go to whatacrock.com, order the liners that are specially designed. It's just like a liner that you put inside. So I'll even use it for storage, but it's, I can take it out. So there's barely any cleanup, and that's made so simple too. So like I said, we did the grandma's meatballs yesterday. I have to order more of those. I think the meatballs are a big hit in my house, whether it's the chicken parm meatballs. They're huge, scrumptious, and then in the middle is this melted Parmesan cheese. But they do everything from fajitas to spicy dishes, whether it's chicken, beef. The shrimp dishes are delicious. I've talked about the chilies, whether it's the bean chili or a hearty beef chili, just delicious. There's no subscription, no commitment required, or you can subscribe if you want, but it's not required. And you order what you want, when you want it. Also, obviously, excellent gifts for anybody in your life. But right now, if you're ordering a few little gifts, you get $25 in What a Crock cash for every $50 worth of gift cards purchased. So it's easy peasy. You give the gift of whatacrock.com, and it's the gift that keeps on giving back to you. So here's the thing. There's no promo code, but I want to tell you, you have until midnight tonight to go on whatacrock.com, order some gifts. And like I say, you get a kickback, if you will, of Whatacrock cash for $25. So do this. I'm going back on because I thought of a few more people that I'm going to send the gift cards to. Then they can choose what they want. Whatacrock.com. I tell you, it's a family favorite. Whatacrock.com. Tell them Dolan sent you.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
These unidentified drones that are flying over New Jersey, they're saying they should declare some kind of a state of emergency.
Here's a marketing idea. I know yesterday was the sales day, so this probably won't be heard for another 6 days. We need to have a Kale and Company drone watch party.
Oh, boy.
We gather wherever these are. We'll go to Jersey, get mulligans on the line. Yeah. We're all going to sit outside, put the fire pits on. We'll have some drinks, and we'll watch drones.
Johnny Z, are you listening, buddy?
Let's go.
Open up mulligans. Let's do this, buddy.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm Bill, and I'm living with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, a type of interstitial lung disease that causes scarring of the lungs and makes it hard to breathe. ILD can be hard to diagnose, so if you're out of breath with a constant dry cough, ask a pulmonologist if it could be ILD. My wife Bev and I have walked every step of this journey together. I couldn't have traveled this road alone, and neither should you. Get help. Find hope. Go to lungsandyou.com.
Seems everyone has an opinion on where the stock market is going, but where should you be going? Find out with Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
It's Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at Westchester University and Pittman, New Jersey in February.
Alan Iverson, Joel and Bean.
My dad set this up. This was actually a Christmas gift to bring us all together, come see Joe and relive all the Philadelphia history. It's amazing.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm and the story of Philly sports through music. Westchester University on February 21st and the Broadway Theater in Pittman, New Jersey on February 22nd. Tickets to a Conklin show make great holiday gifts. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause. Brought to you by the Labor and Energy Alliance this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that will affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
We have so much developing today. I didn't get to this story, but we need to get to this because I'm for this new law that has gone into effect in New York. I know some of you are going to push back against me, but these pet stores across New York, due to a new law, pet stores, these are retail pet stores, they can no longer sell dogs, cats, or bunny rabbits thanks to this new law targeting the inhumane breeding industry. Thank you. It's a new law that just went into effect. I think it's a good idea. And so what it means is that they have to be vetted, or I would rather private people who have their dog or cat, whatever. But most of all, the SPCA and all the different shelters, think about it. If you don't have as many of these retail pet stores that really, by their nature, what do? They encourage all the inbreeding and all the inhumane practices, in my personal experience. So what happens in the state of New York is that they face fines up to $1,000 per violation if they're caught selling dogs or cats. So I know that some people are going to be against that, but I think most people, if we just got our dogs and cats and even bunny rabbits from either a private family or, more importantly, the shelters would be empty. It'd be better for kitties and doggies. I'm a dog lover, and I believe in, even though a lot of people have bougie dogs that are adorable, I've always been somebody, and in my family, I've told you about my dad. We had a rescue goat. We had a rescue pony. We did. My dad he was like the Dr. Doolittle, if you will. He could take any animal. I know, it's pretty amazing. I've talked about it. But we even had, what did we have, like a llama for like a week or something? He'd always find homes for these animals. He's such an animal lover. Maybe that's why he's lived till nearly 90. I don't know. But he talks to the animals, but he's amazing. Seriously, but maybe you disagree on that. Dan, do you think that's bad to ban? I just think it's a retail store. I hate that.
Yeah. And it seems like it's become too complicated to trace where they're getting these from, and allowing them to remain open keeps the puppy farms going and all. So, yeah.
That's my take on that. I know I'm gonna have some of my relatives go, well, we bought our, whatever, Labradoodle. It's like, oh my gosh. Let me tell you something. When you adopt that doggy or kitty cat, whatever animal it is, it's like they know that you saved them. And they're the rescue animals, and the mutts, or some of them are not mutts. They're the best ever. My buddy boy, he's in heaven now, but all of our dogs that we've had over the years were all rescues. I love them. I love every one of them. Oh. So I just looked up, and I didn't have this audio, but remember I covered the story. I put it out on social media, and I told you about it, and I know we'll advance the story. But we had talked about this last week. This story that is, this is a sin, and I think it's a crime against we the people, taxpayers. But the story that's trending, that they've been selling pieces of the border wall ahead of Trump getting into office to start again putting up the border wall. The fact that they're doing this and they're allowed to do this, that's just a sin. So I know we'll move forward on that one. And then we'll continue as we get more information on Luigi in Pennsylvania extradition, more on the Madison, Wisconsin story. There's so much breaking as we speak, and that's why we're live and local. Dom Giordano teed up. Hey, Dom. Hey, Dom.
Hey, Dawn. I'm just looking over this mayor of a town in North Jersey, Belleville, talking about radioactive material around this. Meanwhile, John Kirby and Dana Bash, they say it's only hobbyists. Hobbyists. And then Dana Bash says with a guy, she texted with, it was old police choppers.
Right.
Who's writing this stuff? Old police choppers. Dana Bash sitting there telling you, shut up now. Of course.
It's her ex-husband giving her that info.
Oh, that's nice. But Doug Mastriano, big faux pas, weighs in on it. Wait till you hear what the maestro did with this. Not good.
Dom Show is next.
Cancer, a scary word, but not so scary if you have the right team. Hi, this is John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sundays at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. And that team is Dr. Molly Fantasia and the medical staff at Innovative Medical Associates. Yes, cancer is a scary word and a difficult condition if you've been diagnosed. Over the years, the staff at Innovative Medical Associates has helped hundreds of patients with their unique medical hydration protocols. Cancer support is a large part of the practice practice at Innovative Medical Associates.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Talk about improving your quality of life. Most likely, that'll happen when you visit Innovative Medical Associates. Check them out on the web at innovativemedicalassociates.com or call 856-489-0505 to schedule your initial complimentary consultation.
This is Jordan Lundy of Lundy Law. When we say we hope you're never involved in an accident, we mean it. But if you are injured in an accident, we'll work quickly and tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. And when we also say we only get paid when your case is over and you get paid, we mean it. Remember our name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit LundyLaw.com.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years.
He was in big trouble.
We're going to take your house, garnish your pay.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm.
I don't owe the IRS anymore. It was because of Optima Tax.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Actual client compensated for sharing their experience. Visit OptimaTaxRelief.com for details.
California Psychics is the real deal. They helped me out, totally changed my attitude, totally got me psyched to start my business and take a new path in my life.
At California Psychics, we only connect our customers with the best. We reject 98% of the psychics who apply to us, so we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Okay, it is Dom time. Welcome in. So we have a breaking development on the drones. First, before I play the mayor of Belleville, New Jersey, who was on Good Day New York, talking about radioactivity, a couple of developments. These people are getting into the next phase of this. All right, that would be John Kirby. We'll play you him in a minute. Dana Bash, Kirby's saying, hobbyist. Can you imagine this smug? How did this guy ever get to be an admiral? A rear admiral, Dom, at that. I don't know the difference between the rear admiral and the front admiral, but definitely I understand why he was a rear admiral with the scarf on and the whole thing, and he thinks he's so artful at dodging, John Kirby, telling us hobbyist, among other things. Can you imagine throwing hobbyist into this when people are concerned about this? Dana Bash then goes after Trump on this. Some are going after talk radio. So we're all irresponsible as they lie. Kirby actually said, didn't we have that one, Kirby? No? Okay. First, let me play you Kirby, then I'll play you the mayor. Talking about they've checked out 5,000 reports. That's a lie. Can you imagine this incompetent administration during a couple-day period checking out? We want to see the receipts. We want to see how they checked out these reports. Now, we all concede some of these are mistaken. They're a flight. They're this, they're that, the other. We get it. But something is going on here is without a doubt. But they checked out all 5,000. Can anybody penetrate with this guy and ask them how they checked this out? Can we see the material on this? Here's John Kirby.
John, do you think this has been blown out of proportion? I wouldn't say that, Kate. No, I mean, look,
yeah, Katie,
people
you do.
Are right to see these things and be concerned about it. I mean, I think what you're seeing, honestly, is
the huge ecosystem of drones now really
Let's throw
to
that
light.
in.
I mean, maybe people just didn't appreciate how many of these things are
we didn't
flying
appreciate
in U.S. airspace every single day, and it's only going to get more. There's the numbers are only going to increase.
So shut up and have your Christmas. Well, that's not the one, Dan. The other one's the hobbyist. We'll get to it, though, here in a moment. Here is the mayor of this town in New York. Now, this was just on Good Day, New York this morning, talking about some missing radioactive material since December 2nd. Why wasn't more said about this? Here's what he said.
Information has not been forthcoming, and it's this lack of transparency, in my opinion, that's doing nothing but fueling conspiracy theories online.
Do you have any idea what it could be? Or which side it could be, where it's coming from?
Yeah, I can tell you what it's not. We know for a fact it's not little green men.